This is Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. Do you remember this show, Jeff? Do you remember it?
I barely remember it.
See, I fondly remember it.
I didn't say I didn't fondly remember it. I'm just saying I barely remember it.
Yeah, it's been a while, to be fair, right? They came back with this show with like a new season pretty recently within the last few years, but the original run of Samurai Jack was a long time ago now. But it was, I remember thinking it was really awesome at the time. Samurai Jack, for the folks who maybe never got a chance to check out this great Genndy Tartakovsky series, was this sort of stylish animated experience where you had this crazy mix of a honorable samurai who was traveling through time and traveling into the future and facing off against this crazy wizard spellcaster sorcerer guy named Aku, it mainly was an excuse for some really awesome fights and some very cool sort of exchanges in animation form between Jack and any number of different foes that he ran into, where it was kind of like there was a lot of kind of moments of silence and moments of long pauses where the characters would stare each other down before they got into these crazy duels, and it was just a great little show. And this new video game that's coming out now, I think, kind of gets it right. It kind of gets what was cool about Samurai Jack, but is translating that whole dynamic into a kind of a stylish action game thing, something in the vein of something a little bit like Devil May Cry. I think you could compare it to.
Play it, right? This is not your footage that we're watching right now, but you played a demo of it.
Yeah, I played all the stuff that we're looking at right now, but this is not my personal footage. They sent this along for us to use, that they captured themselves. But there's a demo that we got to play that is much of this content, where you're getting to be Jack. You're running around in the future. You go through kind of this sewer sequence. And fight a bunch of the Imikandi, which are these kind of hunters from the original story, and you also run into a bunch of Aku's robot things, which often look a lot like insects or something like that, some sort of bug or spider. And I would say the big takeaways for me, there's a lot of focus on different types of weaponry that you're using. You have your magic sword that you always have access to. But then on top of that, you get a number of other weapons that either run out of ammo or break eventually. So whether you get like a scythe, or you can get bow and arrow, you can get machine gun, all sorts of different stuff. And they're meant to be things that you use for a while and then change out. But you kind of always return back to your main sword. The game's got a pretty extensive upgrade tree, which I'm excited to kind of see how that shakes out. In the short demo we saw, there wasn't much I could do with that. But it did look pretty robust in terms of giving you lots of new techniques and attacks and that kind of thing. The battles, as you can kind of see in the footage that's playing out here, one of the big focuses is on changing weapons. So you get... you kind of learn the different enemies that you're fighting and figure out which ones are going to be vulnerable to particular attack styles. And again, not unlike a lot of other stylish action games, it's a lot of light attack, heavy attack, mixing up those combos. You get new attacks over time. So I was kind of digging on it. It's a nice reminder of this great show. And at the same time, nothing crazy ambitious or unexpected here, right? I mean, getting in sword fights, running through corridor-style spaces before you get into arenas where you fight a bunch of foes for a little while. There's a little bit of storytelling, and you get lots of the characters from the original show kind of showing back up.
Is it the next entry in the story, or is it something already seen?
My question exactly, Leo. I love it.
I couldn't tell from what I played. I think that they have involved Tartakovsky in a meaningful way here. I know he's connected with the game, and so I suspect that they're thinking about this as being in some ways canonical, if you want to think about it that way, to the story. But I don't know. Like I said, the demo itself was only 20 minutes or so, and it was pretty much just fighting.
Yeah. And it was fun-onical, though, the way you played of it, right?
It was fun-onical. Yeah.
Perfect.
I think one of the things that I'll be the most curious about as it gets closer to launch is to see how that combat system develops as you progress through the different abilities and things that you get. It does have that quality, and you can see some of this even in this footage that they captured for us, that it relies a lot in terms of difficulty on a stagger mechanic where you get hit and then you're kind of like stunned a little bit and you can't act for a moment. And that's hard to do well, right? Like that can get really frustrating really fast. And so whether it turns out that that's a really fun way to have combat be, or because they really nail the timing and they get it all right, or it ends up being frustrating because you're always feeling like you're just like getting knocked down to the ground and losing all your health instantly. We've all played games like that before that are in this vein, and that's no fun when it happens. And I didn't, I'll be totally honest. I'm not saying that this is bad because of that. I just don't know if that's going to be how it shakes out yet. It's the kind of game that uses that style of play, but it's not clear yet if that's really going to be what's going on.
Awesome. When is this coming out?
Let's see. They have said that it's supposed to be out this summer, but they have not offered any more detail beyond that, to my knowledge. It's coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And Adult Swim Games is publishing with a developer called Soleil working on it. Haven't been familiar with their work before, but what I've seen of it here looks pretty solid.
Good. Well, thanks for telling us all about it. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.